Well, ladies and gentlemen, the sun is behind me because it is morning time, and Joe and I are here in Georgetown, Malaysia, and I want to invite you to come along with our journey today as we do our own personal walking tour of the town. Now, this is something really cool. Georgetown is an amalgamation of different cultures, and of course the Hindu influence in Southeast Asia is pretty extravagant. So it's very common to see a lot of altars in front of businesses, and this is right outside one of the guest houses and cafes that have been restored in one of the old storefronts or shop houses. And you can see the architecture. We've seen it in Chinatown, we've seen it all over Southeast Asia. And it's very common, dating back to the 1800s. And you'll see that they all have a covered porch on underneath the upper story, and then a walkway here. This is called a 5-foot walkway, because during that time period, this was considered the common area, the common space for everyone to come out and mingle, and also provide some shade or some refuge from rain. We're coming up to the Hainan Temple, or Temple of the Heavenly Queen. It dates back to 1895, and the exterior is beautiful. The temple is done in Sung Dynasty style, and the reliefs, the carvings on the exterior temple wall, I have never seen anything like this in a Buddhist temple ever. And I've been to Buddhist temples all over the world. It's the three-dimensional artwork is just stunning. Throughout our walk in Georgetown today, you will see several of these wrought iron and other art installations put in place by the city. And these were actually created by two local cartoonists and then transformed into these wrought iron sculptures. Fantastic. Georgetown was actually set up as a tin mining society, tin mining town. And you have a tin merchant over here and a Chinese business person. So this is Penang's famous white coffee. It is a mix of instant coffee, white sugar, non-dairy creamer, and several other natural enhancers. Let's give it a try. It's very smooth, very creamy. It's not what I normally drink, but if you like sweet coffee, this is probably something you'd enjoy. This cup right here was only 4 ringgit. So this is the Chung Fat Zi mansion, and it is one of the world's 10 greatest mansions according to Lonely Planet in 2011. So right now we're making our way down Love Lane. Now it's not Lover's Lane, although that could be a really good name for it. And the reason why it's called Love Lane is because back in the day, men would house their mistresses here. I personally think this is one of the funnier installations here in town. A lot of the old shop houses have now been converted into guest houses and backpacker inns. So if you're looking for a great place to stay, this is a prime location. I think probably the most interesting thing about walking through town is really taking in all the different shop houses. The architecture is amazing, and you can see many that have been restored over the years, and several more that haven't. You can see how this city has progressed through the years. This is the Kapitan Kaling Mosque. It's the oldest in Georgetown, founded 1801 after a land grant
given by the East India Company. Now this street corner is incredibly fascinating. So here we have an old shop house, boarded up, really not being used. More shop houses over here. Then we have a Chinese temple over here. A fascinating shop house with a balcony, and it looks like another Chinese shrine that we're gonna head into next. Oh yes, the Hok Cheng Shin Temple. Right on Armenian Street, coming into the main courtyard. Oh, now that is the ticket. Now this is something fairly interesting, especially if you're an architectural buff. This trap door, plastic, opens up, and inside you can actually see the original terracotta floors. We're now going to head up to the upper level of the temple. This really is a very cool complex. So all of these shop houses here are all connected, and the temple is behind it. It was designed to be a community temple for the Chinese here in Georgetown, and is designed to worship the god of prosperity and morality. You may notice from time to time that many of the shop houses are built lower than the current street levels. And that is because they were erected before many modern conveniences were installed, like sewage pipes. And a good guideline to follow as to how old a shop house is, the more sunken from the modern street, the older it is. Along Armenian Street, you have essentially the evolution of shop houses, and that's what I wanted to show you today. So here we have the original one-story kind with their corrugated sides and the tin roofs. And by the way, Georgetown used to be a tin mining area. Then we have the second evolution here, which are a story and a half, moving on to the second story facilities over here. And at the end of the road, you have three-story houses. So I'm coming up to probably one of the most famous art installations here in Georgetown. It is a bicycle. Check that out. Two kids on a bicycle. It's awesome. Here's another great art installation that I'm sure cat lovers will enjoy. Now, one of the most popular places to go and visit in Georgetown that maybe not a lot of people have spent enough time exploring is probably the jetties, the clan jetties. And we're here at the Chu Jetty, and I can't wait to walk all the way down. Behind me is the clock tower here in Georgetown. Now I know the GoPro makes the tower appear as if it's leaning. Well, you know what? In reality, it really is. You see, during World War II, a lot of planes dropped bombs here on the island of Penang, so the ground softened just a bit and the tower started leaning. The tower itself dates back a few hundred years and was erected in honor of Queen Victoria's Diamond Jubilee. Now our final destination today is going to be Fort Cornwallis, which was erected during the British colonial period of what is modern-day Malaysia. Now interestingly enough, this particular fort never saw combat because it was erected as a deterrence for what was assumed to be an imminent Japanese attack. However, the fort itself faces south and the Japanese came from the north. Like the clock tower, the fort has seen better days. The walls themselves are fairly low, and that's because they themselves have also sunken into the ground after the intense bombing the island saw. The shape of the fort is essentially a square, with each corner having protrusions, making it appear as if it were a star. And it was founded on the spot the British first landed here on the island. This is the chapel in the church. It is the oldest Anglican church on the island, and I am going to go inside. As soon as you step through the archway, you feel significantly heavy. Oh my gosh, and you come in the main chapel and you feel a huge weight on you. You can see that there's probably once a stained glass window up there that's been boarded up. But being in here, you just feel an intense weight pushing down on you. That's pretty freaky. And as you exit, it dissipates immediately. I wonder if it's haunted. And that will do it for our walking tour of Georgetown today. And I have to leave you with this thought. While you can hop on a bus, you can rent motorbikes or bicycles, I think probably the best way to experience Georgetown is like we did, on foot. It's easy enough to walk around, and if you're in good shape, it doesn't put too much stress on your body. And best of all, you get a chance to really experience the town. You get to mingle with its residents, and you get a feel for what it's like to live here. Which brings me to another point. Rather than coming to Georgetown and having a bucket list of things you have to go see, I would say come here with the purpose of simply relaxing and experiencing this portion of the island. Find a nice place to stay, enjoy the cafes, enjoy the amazing food, and best of all, have a great time. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to be true to yourself and always be awesome.